Yet mature masculine appeal is often communicated without a single word. Direct eye contact from a woman is never random. It is a psychological message, shaped by instinct, emotion, and intent. In the world of dark psychology, the eyes are not windows to the soul, they are weapons of communication. If you learn to read them correctly, you stop chasing validation and start commanding presence. Today, you'll understand what direct eye contact really means, and why how you respond determines whether you are seen as ordinary or unforgettable. When a woman makes direct eye contact with you, the first mistake most men make is assuming it's about attraction alone. That assumption immediately puts you in a reactive position. In reality, direct eye contact is a signal of interest without permission, and interest does not mean approval, attraction, or availability. It means attention. And attention is neutral until you define it through your response. This is where mature masculine psychology separates itself from boyish excitement. Interest begins before emotion. A woman locks eyes with you because something about your presence disrupted her mental autopilot. It could be your calm posture, the way you move without urgency, or simply the fact that you are not trying to be noticed. Ironically, the men who receive the most eye contact are often the ones not scanning the room for validation. That is because attention flows toward emotional gravity. When you are internally stable, people feel it without understanding why. Direct eye contact is often subconscious. She may not even be aware she's doing it. Her nervous system is responding to a perceived grounded masculine presence. And here's the critical point. At this stage, she is not offering anything. She is observing. She is gathering data. She is asking a silent psychological question: is this man centered within himself, or is he easily pulled out of frame by external stimuli? Most men answer this question incorrectly within seconds. They look away too fast, signaling insecurity, or they oversmile, signaling need, or they stare aggressively, signaling ego and lack of emotional regulation. All three responses disqualify mature masculine appeal because they reveal reactivity. Masculine presence is defined by how little you are disturbed by attention, positive or negative. When a woman holds eye contact, she is not asking you to perform. She is watching how you handle stillness. Stillness makes ungrounded men uncomfortable. They feel the urge to do something, to prove, to impress, to escape. A mature man feels no such urgency. He understands that nothing is required of him in that moment. His value is not on trial. This is why direct eye contact can feel intense. Intensity is not created by desire. It is created by unresolved tension. She is holding tension to see if you collapse it. If you rush to speak, laugh nervously, or seek reassurance, you collapse the tension, and with it, the attraction. If you remain calm, relaxed, and present, the tension deepens. And depth is what draws people in. Interest without permission means she is stepping into your emotional space briefly without asking. She wants to see whether you guard that space anxiously or allow it confidently. A man who anxiously guards his space feels threatened by attention. A man who confidently holds his space feels unbothered by it. That unbothered quality is magnetic. Another key misunderstanding is assuming that eye contact means immediate romantic intent. Often, it does not. Especially with emotionally mature women, eye contact is a filtering mechanism. She is eliminating men, not choosing them. She is testing for presence, not chasing excitement. The men who pass do so by doing less, not more. Think about this. A man who is truly centered does not rush to interpret signals. He allows them to reveal themselves over time. He does not project fantasies onto moments. He observes reality as it unfolds. This alone places him psychologically above the majority of men who live in anticipation rather than awareness. When you receive direct eye contact and remain composed, something subtle happens. You flip the dynamic. Instead of her evaluating you, the moment becomes mutual. Not because you challenge her, but because you do not submit to interpretation. You are simply there. And presence cannot be rushed, negotiated, or forced. This is why the correct response is often minimal. A calm, relaxed gaze held just long enough to acknowledge, followed by a natural return to what you were doing. No sharp movements, no exaggerated expressions, no hunger in the eyes. Hunger repels, calm attracts. In that moment, she feels something rare, a man who does not need the moment to mean anything. And paradoxically, that makes it mean everything. Interest without permission also reveals something deeper about feminine psychology. Women are highly attuned to emotional regulation. They feel safety not through words but through consistency of energy. A man who reacts strongly to eye contact signals volatility. A man who remains steady signals reliability and self-trust. This is where mature masculine appeal becomes almost invisible yet powerful. You are not trying to win her attention. You are not trying to escalate. You are simply not losing yourself when attention arrives. That alone communicates abundance. And abundance is not about options. It is about inner fullness. A man who is full does not rush to consume. He can appreciate without grasping. He can notice without attaching. That emotional restraint is deeply attractive because it contrasts sharply with the desperation most women encounter. Another layer to understand is that direct eye contact can be exploratory without being personal. She may be curious about your energy, not you as an individual. Men who personalize everything become emotionally noisy. Men who understand this remain quiet internally, and that quiet is felt. When you stay grounded, you allow her curiosity to grow rather than forcing it into a conclusion. Curiosity thrives in open space. Neediness suffocates it. There is also a power exchange happening beneath the surface. The man who believes eye contact gives her power over him loses frame. The man who understands that attention does not equal authority maintains it. Power does not belong to the one who looks, it belongs to the one who is least disturbed by being seen. This is why mature men do not chase moments. They let moments come to them. They understand that attraction is not built through reaction but through consistency of being. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Many men fail this moment not because they lack confidence but because they seek validation. Validation seeking is subtle. It shows up in micro-expressions, body shifts, tone changes. Women notice these things instinctively. When she sees it, interest fades, not because she dislikes you, but because the mystery is gone. Mystery is not silence. Mystery is self-containment. When you are self-contained, eye contact becomes a shared experience rather than a test you're trying to pass. She feels met, not chased, seen, not hunted, and that distinction changes everything. So when a woman makes direct eye contact with you, understand this clearly. She is not asking you to act. She is asking you to remain. Remain calm. Remain present. Remain yourself without inflation or collapse. Do that and you communicate mature masculine appeal without saying a word. When direct eye contact shifts from curiosity into a silent challenge, the psychological stakes change completely. This is the moment most men misunderstand because they confuse dominance with aggression and confidence with performance. In reality, the silent challenge is not about overpowering someone else. It is about whether you are anchored within yourself when pressure appears. A woman does not challenge a man she already sees as weak, nor does she challenge one she sees as dangerous. She challenges the man who appears potentially strong to see whether that strength is real or performative. This type of eye contact carries a different quality. It is steadier, less soft, less exploratory. There is weight behind it. She is not leaning forward emotionally, she is standing still and watching. In this moment, she is not asking, "Do I like him?" She is asking, "Does he fold, inflate, or remain unchanged?" The silent challenge is about emotional hierarchy. Not superiority, but stability. Human beings instinctively test stability in others because stability equals safety. A man who crumbles under pressure cannot be trusted. A man who becomes aggressive under pressure cannot be trusted either. Only the man who remains regulated earns respect. Most men fail this test instantly because they feel exposed. Being seen without context feels threatening to the ego. The ego wants to explain itself, decorate itself, defend itself. When eye contact feels like a challenge, the ego scrambles for control. It tightens the jaw, stiffens the posture, sharpens the gaze. The man thinks he is holding frame, but in reality, he is leaking insecurity through effort. True masculine frame does not require effort. It exists before the challenge arrives. The woman initiating this challenge is often doing so unconsciously. Her nervous system senses something solid and presses against it, the way pressure tests strength in materials. She is not trying to dominate you, she is verifying your internal structure. If your structure is hollow, the pressure exposes it. If it is sound, the pressure does nothing. This is why the worst response is to escalate the challenge. Staring harder, narrowing the eyes, puffing the chest, these are signals of ego defensiveness, not dominance. Dominance does not need to announce itself. It is felt through calm control. The man who passes this test does not try to win the stare. He does not interpret it as a battle. He understands that eye contact is not power, emotional reaction is power. Whoever reacts more gives away control. Stillness is authority. When you remain relaxed during a silent challenge, something subtle but profound happens. The polarity shifts. Instead of her testing you, she begins to feel herself being observed, not judged, not evaluated, but met. This removes the hierarchy. And paradoxically, removing hierarchy often increases attraction because it signals self-equality rather than submission or dominance seeking. A mature man does not need to dominate a woman to feel masculine. His masculinity is not dependent on external positioning. That independence is what women feel as strength. The silent challenge also reveals whether you are present or performing. Many men adopt alpha behaviors they've learned: slow movements, reduced blinking, deliberate posture. These are surface-level tactics. Under challenge, these tactics crack because they are not integrated. Authentic presence cannot be faked under pressure. It either exists or it doesn't. This is why the challenge feels uncomfortable to ungrounded men. It threatens the illusion they have built. When the illusion shakes, anxiety rises. Anxiety always reveals itself through micro-movements: fidgeting, forced breathing, exaggerated stillness. Women read these signals instinctively. The man who remains natural under challenge communicates something rare: congruence. His internal state matches his external behavior. There is no split between who he is and how he appears. Congruence creates trust faster than charm ever could. Another important layer: the silent challenge is often a boundary check. She is observing whether you respect invisible lines. Do you stare too long? Do you push intensity when it isn't invited? Do you turn the moment sexual prematurely? A man who lacks restraint fails here, not because he is unattractive, but because he feels unsafe. Restraint is one of the least discussed yet most powerful masculine traits. It signals choice. It says, I could engage, but I don't need to. Needlessness is calming. Calm is attractive. When you meet a silent challenge with ease, you communicate that your self-worth is not dependent on outcomes. You are not trying to extract validation from the interaction. You are complete whether it continues or ends. That completeness is felt instantly. It is important to understand that this challenge is not always about romantic interest. Sometimes it is about respect. Sometimes it is about social calibration. Sometimes it is simply curiosity about strength. Men who interpret every challenge sexually reveal scarcity mindset. Scarcity collapses masculine presence. A man grounded in abundance does not rush to label experiences. He allows them to exist without interpretation. That patience creates depth. The silent challenge also exposes how you relate to tension. Tension is unavoidable in life: conflict, uncertainty, risk. A man who cannot tolerate tension seeks escape. A man who can tolerate tension becomes a leader. Women are drawn to men who can sit in discomfort without losing themselves because that capacity suggests emotional resilience. This is why the correct response is not passive submission nor confrontational dominance. It is calm